Welcome to the stream, guys. So glad to have you all here. If you're in the comments, say hello. We've got an awesome show lined up for you today. We're trying something new, and we're going to be taking a look at really important advanced technology stories here on LinkedIn Live. What's going to be special about today is that we want to hear how you, what you think about these stories live in real time. So we're going to provide you with some options on how you may feel about the story, and then we want you to vote in the comments below. So it's like an interactive news show. And then after that, we want you to stick around because we're going to do live trivia, which you can challenge your colleagues and see how well you do. And we're also going to be voting live in the comment section. So this is really exciting. We've got an awesome show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence, CGI influencers, semiconductors or chips, all types of stuff, controversial Apple facial recognition lawsuits and more. So here we go. We're about to get started. We're going to jump into our first story of the day here. And the first story is by a 19-year-old CGI influencer or computer-generated influencer, little Miquela. Now, if you're not familiar with little Miquela, she's already huge on Instagram. She's garnered 1.5 million followers, and she's actually not real. So we can imagine a future where maybe AI animates these characters. But what do you think about this new trend that's happening where CGI influencers are becoming as big as influencers? And so to top it all off, she's had some fame. She's had a good a music video with electronic artist Bauer, and in which she's featured in it. Barney's New York also gave her a collaboration clothing line in real life. And so I guess her influence is pushing her to sell real physical product. And it's pretty impressive. And so now with this new story, she's announcing her very own clothing line. It's kind of interesting here. It's called Club, sorry. It's called Club 404. And this is kind of like a promotional video that they put together for the clothing line. And it's kind of cool. What do you think about these future computer-generated influencers? And eventually I see them becoming artificial intelligence influencers or AI-based influencers that can live stream just like this. And also there's been news anchors as well that are completely AI and CGI, announced in a couple countries recently, which I won't give away the answers because it's part of our trivia after this. But yeah, cool. I mean, that's little Miquela. It's really cool. If you want to take a look at some of her Instagram to give an idea of what her kind of post looks like and why people are so attracted to little Miquela. Let me give you a little bit of that here. But yeah, can you imagine 1.5 million followers here? It's pretty crazy. Yeah, she's supposed to be of Brazilian descent, and actually she's created by an agency of two guys who formulated this or mastermind little Miquela. So it's really a new concept that's hitting our world. So let's jump right into the question here for you guys on LinkedIn Live that are watching. I want to know, what do you think about this? So what do you think about the idea of computer-generated influencers? For you, is it A, hell yeah, that is awesome? Or B, not for me? Or C, just no, that is weird. So what do you guys think? Comment below your answer. What do you think? CGI influencers, awesome, or just a terrible idea? Drop your comments here in the bottom here on LinkedIn Live. Let me know that you're there. And we're about to move on to our next news story. All right. Moving along. This is a really cool story. Basically, NVIDIA has announced a new, what's called a GAN, or Generative Adversarial Network, which is a form of, it's a form of artificial intelligence. And basically, the role of this GAN, or Generative Adversarial Network, is a type of machine learning system which will basically allow you to do a crude, childish drawing on the left-hand side, and then the output would be this beautiful scenery. And let me show you what that looks like here to give you a little bit more context. So here on the left, you see that basically you can choose the different options of materials. And then as you do this simple childlike drawing, the artificial intelligence creates the rest. So, and I really like the name of it too. The name of this AI is Gauguin, and it's named after, it's kind of a play on words. The last three letters is GAN, or generative, sorry about that, generative adversarial networks. And, but Paul Gauguin is a famous French painter born in 1848, and was a famed painter which sought to achieve a primitive expression of spiritual and emotional states in his work. So I thought that was pretty appropriate of a name. And yeah, it's a really cool story. So what do you think about this? What could this mean for artists and, businesses of the future? What do you think about this advancement in AI? A, could be bad for the job market. B, this could be great for business, because that means obviously people with lower artistic skill could create awesome stuff. Or C, this is a complete gimmick. It's a marketing thing and we should ignore it. So again, what do you think about this advancement in AI? It could be great for business. It could be bad for the job market. Or finally, who cares? Let's just ignore it because it's a marketing sort of move. So what do you guys think? Comment below to let me know. And we've got some awesome people on LinkedIn Live here. So we've got Maria Mustafa, Mark Allen Kurtz, James Coburn wants to know what city I'm in. I'm in San Francisco. Stephen Shaw voted A. Maroof says, I don't understand how there can be a virtual influencer. That's crazy. Tiago, A. Maroof, A. Stephen Shaw, this is being recorded. Sebastian, sorry, I got to shoot off. All right, Stephen, see you later. We got J. Brian Hennessy and Nadia voting B. So, all right, well, that's pretty cool. Big shout out to everybody out there. And let's jump on to our next news story here. So the next story is Darpa. So if you're not familiar with Darpa, they are the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. And they're responsible for things like the mouse, Boston Dynamics robots, a whole ton of innovations that we all take advantage of every day, and we probably don't realize that it's coming from DARPA. So this was published in the MIT Technology Review, and basically they have this ambitious $1.5 billion fund to reinvent electronics to deal with the issue of Moore's Law. And so if you're not familiar with Moore's Law, basically as they design chips smaller, faster, cheaper every single year, you kind of run out of space of the number of transistors that can be fitted on a chip. And so previously it doubled roughly every 2 years, but now because of the amount of space on these chips becoming smaller and smaller without having to electricity jump circuits and that kind of stuff, we need to figure out a brand new kind of CPU chip. And that's important to the entire electronics industry. And so if we can't get smaller, faster, cheaper, then there has to be a new technique. So one of those techniques, to give you an example, would be quantum computing. Unfortunately, quantum computing requires these huge hypercooling facilities, and the computers are like as big as rooms, just like classical computers were in the 1970s. But instead, now with quantum computing, we're kind of starting at the beginning again, and it could be a proposed solution. However, because of the hypercooling and the sort of size limitations, you'll never see, or at least it will be a long time until quantum computers are embedded into your cell phone. So quantum computers can be used through the cloud, but we still need a new solution for the CPU. So Darpa has incentivized the market for people to design and propose new solutions to the computer chip that may have not been thought out just yet. And so it's a $1.5 billion fund, which will be going on over the next 5 years. And so some people criticize that it may not be enough, and that the government, including like the Department of Energy, is not investing enough money into this problem, considering that our world is run by electronics. And we need the solution fast, or we'll start to feel the effects. So here's our question here. What do you think? And we want you to vote in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think the US government is spending enough on this problem? A, they're spending enough, and I think 1.5 is good and adequate. B, this is important, they should be spending more. Or C, billions, way too much. So again, we're going to read that question one more time. Do you think the US government is spending enough on this problem? A, they're spending enough. B, this is important, they should be spending more. Or C, billions, that is way too much. So what do you guys think? Comment your answers in the comment section below. And we're going to be jumping into our next story. And remember to stay tuned after the news show, because we're going to be doing live trivia in which you can challenge a colleague and see how well you do in the octagon. So here we go. We're going to move on to the next story. And this one is interesting because in VR and AR, there's one large company that maybe even trend-setting company that has not participated in the augmented or virtual reality space when it comes to headsets. So they've created a huge infrastructure and with AR Kit. So it seems like they're setting up something in preparation. They've been filing a bunch of patents. They've been acquiring sensor companies and display companies. And now it's been announced that Apple has hired Jaunt, VR's founder, Arthur Van Hoff. And so to work on their augmented and virtual reality sort of solution. So we've heard a couple leaks here and there. From an AR perspective, they have had a few leaks that they're working on a headset, which is codenamed T228 or Project Mirror Shades. And so we've seen the rumblings, we've seen the acquisitions, but Apple, let's go ahead and give them a hashtag strong hire here for Arthur Van Hoff. We think that's a great move at the digital asset, and we hope to see more AR, VR talent acquisitions for what they could be beefing up for. So The Jaunt VR thing could be hinting at a potential virtual reality headset. The technology is there earlier, so maybe they might drop a VR headset before they drop an AR headset. There's also been some rumors of an article that came out about them potentially going to production as soon as the end of 2019 on their augmented reality glasses. So those glasses you see right there are just sort of design prototypes that someone, imagined. That's not the actual AR glasses, but I'm sure whatever they put out, it will be beautiful. So now I'm going to go to you guys here, LinkedIn Live. What do you think about this hire? Does this hire signify that Apple is working on a VR or AR headset? A, where there's smoke, there's gotta be fire. B, nah, there's no way that Apple would release a VR or AR headset. Or C, I need to see more evidence. So again, do you think this hire signifies that Apple is working on a VR or AR headset? A, where there's smoke, there's fire. B, nah, there's no way. Or C, I need to see more evidence. What do you guys think? Comment below your answers so that way we can figure out how we all feel about this news. I think it could be exciting. I think Apple will drop something slick, something minimal, something easy to use, user-friendly, just a beautiful headset, perhaps more beautiful than any headset we've seen. But who knows? We don't know. It's all speculation. So what do you guys think? Are they working on something, or it's a bunch of baloney? What are your thoughts? And so since we're talking about Apple here, let's talk about this really controversial piece of news that just came out a few days ago. And basically, a teen is suing Apple for $1 billion and claims its facial recognition led to his false arrest. So to give you a little bit of background on what happened, basically, there had been a string of thefts that had happened in New Jersey, Delaware, and New York City. And this student was arrested at 4 a.m. in his home by New York police in suspicion of stealing from a Manhattan Apple store. And the filing says the police carried out the arrest, even though their warrant included a photo of a suspect who didn't resemble Bob. So basically, this student is suing Apple for $1 billion by saying that they use facial recognition inside of their stores, and he was wrongfully ID'd, which led to his arrest. Now, Apple has provided a response to this story and said that they do not use facial recognition inside of their stores, kind of similar to like an Amazon Go might be using facial recognition within their stores. So it's a big lawsuit. I'm sure it'll be a while till we see what happens. But now I'm going to pass the question on to you. What do you think about this recent allegations? Based on the allegations, who do you think is likely at fault? A, Apple, B, the police, or C, student? So based on the allegations and what I've told you, who do you think is likely at fault? A, Apple for falsely arresting this guy based off of we don't know what. B, the police for arresting him based on a picture that doesn't look like him. Or C, the student for putting out false allegations of facial recognition software, which isn't even being used in their stores. So what are your thoughts, guys? I'm here watching all your comments in LinkedIn Live, and I love interacting with you guys. And so what do you think about this new show format? It's kind of like news, but it's interactive. It's fun. It's not like just someone just talking to you. We are all having a big conversation. So let's see. What else we got here? We've got J. Brian Hennessy, which says Darpa is our friend. Cruz Felix says it's cool. Loving the topics of this LinkedIn Live from Maroof. Squid operates close to room temp. Other issues confront Moore's law. Okay, Jay Bryan, right? Maruf agreed, says Kevin. Carlos says, at Nice Systems. Maruf Ahmed says, B, more, but it could be more diversified among other industries as well. Jay Bryan says, B, yep. And Maruf, B for shout. From Kevin. So, okay. And then here, Petra says A, and I hope it's AR, and it arrives soon. I agree. I would love to see an Apple AR headset, Project Mirror Shades. Come on, be out with it. J. Brian Hennessy says A, and Maruf, A and B needed to dig deeper before the arrest. Loving this format from Richard. So, hey, thanks, guys, for all your feedback. This is really cool. And now we're going to get into something really exciting. I want you to get pumped up because I want you to challenge your colleagues. And what we're going to be doing now is the ultimate LinkedIn Live trivia game. So in order to challenge your colleague, I need you to use the @ symbol in the comments and tag your opponents. It could be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be multiple people, it could be just a single person. But you need to tag someone right now so you can challenge them and see how well you do against other LinkedIn Live professionals. So do it, seriously. Like, hit the @ symbol, type in a name, and hit enter. It's super easy. Challenge those bastards to a duel. This is the ultimate LinkedIn Live trivia show. I've told you this before. I told you it's the ultimate LinkedIn live stream, and now you're seeing why. So if there's other people that don't believe, either tag them or share this with them after. But don't let this slander go on any longer. We are the best show on LinkedIn Live, period. I'm drawing the line. And with that, I am going to jump in to the first Futurist quiz question. All right. Question number 1. Which of the following countries have introduced AI news anchors? Is it A, Russia and Estonia? B, China and Russia? C, China and England? Or D, Norway and Ukraine? Again, question number 1. Which of the following countries have introduced AI news anchors? A, Russia and Estonia. B, China and Russia. C, China and England. Or D, Norway and Ukraine. Vote in the comments down below. And since it's the first question, make sure you've already challenged your colleague by tagging them. So that way they can start at the beginning with you, though. Okay. What do you guys think? I'm going to give you a few seconds, but in the meantime, it's kind of a good question here because Russia and Estonia, okay. I think Estonia had the AI judge, so maybe they would be down for something like that. China and Russia, China and England. England has a huge surveillance state. Norway and Ukraine, wouldn't know. All right. Get your answers down below. We're going to show the question one more time. Question number 1, which of the following countries have introduced AI news anchors? A, Russia and Estonia. B, China and Russia. C, China and England. Or D, Norway and Ukraine. All right, we're going to announce the winner. And the answer to question number 1 is China and Russia. And this all happened this year. So in China, you can YouTube it. There's an AI news anchor, creepy as hell, state-run. And think about it. They don't have to sleep. They don't complain. They always show up to work on time. What do you think about it? And Russia also, theirs was actually robotics with an AI built in. So you can check all this out on YouTube. It's creepy stuff. And so what do you guys think? All right, we're going to jump into the next question here. Live trivia on LinkedIn Live. That means if you're watching live right now, you have an effect on the show. So comment, let your presence be known. All right, moving on to the next question. Which of the following is one of the most anticipated VR headsets of 2019? Is it A, Oculus Rift, B, Meta 2, C, Oculus Quest, or D, ODG R9? Which one is it? Comment in your answer below. Question number 2, which of the following is one of the most anticipated virtual reality headsets of 2019? A, Oculus Rift, B, Meta 2, C, Oculus Quest, or D, ODG R9? What do you guys think? By the way, big shout out here. What is the application you're using when you flip the camera? It's a secret, Richie. Adam Balcut is tagging Ryan. Petras is tagging Paul. Love to hear your opinion, mentor. Nice. All right. Need audience help. China and. So shout out to everybody out here in the comments. Greg, Richard, Adam, Petras, and J. Brian Hennessy, to name a few. So here we go. We're going to jump into the answer. Question number 2, which of the following is one of the most anticipated virtual reality headsets of 2019? Is it A, the Oculus Rift, B, Meta 2, C, Oculus Quest, or D, ODG R9? I will give you a hint. This highly anticipated virtual reality headset is hypothetically coming out on April 30th, which is just a few days from today. All right. I am about to give you the answer, and I'll break it down slowly. It's $399. It's built in to the headset, so you don't need a computer. You don't need to slide a cell phone in there. It's wireless, and it's 6 degrees of freedom, so it's full body motion tracking. What does that mean? You can be in a shooting game, and then you can do a full body rotation. No cable's going to get stuck to you. No computer. This thing is going to be awesome. And what is the name? Oculus Quest. This is what a lot of people think will change the VR adoption rates in the industry. Already the Oculus Go was shipped out, and companies like Walmart were using it for their training, their stock employees, and there's been a lot of applications. You can just pick it up. It's mobile, one touch, turns on, works like a dream. But I would love to see how the Quest is going to be incorporated into enterprise businesses. So that's something exciting to see. So yeah, the answer, if you didn't catch it there, is C, Oculus Quest, as the one of the most anticipated virtual reality headsets of the year. And it comes out next week, so stay locked to this channel. We're going to be talking about it. All right, let's move on to the next question here. We're going to go on to question number 3. Who was the first person to introduce the term technological singularity? Is it A, our boy Elon Musk, B, Nikola Tesla, or C, Alan Turing, or D, John von Neumann? What do you guys think? The term technological singularity. Is that a Musk thing? Is that a Tesla thing? Is it a Turing thing? or is it a von Neumann thing? What do you guys think? And the technological singularity is this moment where we could stop predicting, where we can no longer predict what will happen because there has been in this case, technological singularity or an explosion of technology that has never existed before and now changes the path of where humanity is going in a way that can't be predicted because there's no historical data prior to make that assessment. So it's a very important term. And so who do you think made it? Who do you think is the one who coined the term? So I'm going to run it one more time. The question is, number 3, who was the first person to introduce the term technological singularity? A, Elon Musk, B, Nikola Tesla, C, Alan Turing, or D, John von Neumann? Let's grab those last few votes in the comments right now. I'm going to give you a few seconds to vote your answer, and then I'm going to disclose who it is. So what do you guys think? All right. Are we ready? All right. I think we're ready. Let's do it. So who was the first person to introduce the term technological singularity? If you voted John von Neumann, you are a LinkedIn Live trivia bam. Congratulations. You got it. That was a tough one. Awesome. Okay, let's jump into these comments real quick for a second. Come on, Meta 2. Petros. Petra says, I reckon PS5 will change a lot virtual reality entertainment as they have a huge fan base. I agree. They've already sold, 3.5 or 4 million headsets of PSVR. They've already confirmed for the PS5 backwards compatibility with PSVR. And I would assume, and I would love to see a new virtual reality headset from PlayStation, especially with all the financial success that they've had with it. So Richard here says John von Neumann. Petra says the father of computer, perhaps? See? Okay. All right, Eleanor. Sorry. Better luck next time. Shout out to Nadia as well. All right. We're going to move on to the next question here. And this is a toughie here. So question number 4, in reference to virtual reality, what does the term 6DOF stand for? A, 6 digital operating frames. B, 6 data optimized firmware. C, 6 degrees of freedom. Or D, 6 dashboards on fire. What do you think? Question number 4. We're going to go ahead and repeat that question one more time. In reference to virtual reality, what does the term 6DOF stand for? A, 6 digital operating frames. B, 6 data optimized firmware. C, 6 degrees of freedom. Or D, 6 dashboards on fire. What do you guys think, LinkedIn Live? Mark is laughing over there. LOL. What, you see something funny in there? What do you see that's funny, Mark? And not everybody knows this, by the way. Let's not assume that everyone knows this. 6DOF? Come on. All right, let's see. So we got 6 digital operating frames. We've got 6 data optimization firmware. We've got 6 degrees of freedom or 6 dashboards on fire. What do you think? LinkedIn Live, I need to know what you think. Vote in the comments below. All right. We're about to announce the winner here. All right, let's do this. Make sure you comment your answer below. That's it. I'm giving it out. I'm giving out the answer. I'm drawing the line. In reference to virtual reality, what does the term 6DOF stand for? A, 6 digital operating frames. B, 6 data optimized firmware. 6 degrees of freedom, or 6 dashboards on fire. All right, and here's the answer without further ado: 6 degrees of freedom. And what does 6 degrees of freedom mean? It means that you can move freely in 3D space, meaning forward, back, head rotation, left and right, crouch, up and down. So that gives you those 6 degrees of freedom. And in a 3 degrees of freedom, which is really important when you're shopping for a virtual reality headset, if it is not 6 degrees of freedom, which is generally the more expensive and more high-end products, whereas like Google Cardboard, Samsung Gear, even the Oculus Go is 3 degrees of freedom. It doesn't include body tracking. So a lot of the motion sickness comes from that, because what happens is people are watching a 360 video with a 3 degrees of freedom headset, and it's natural to want to move closer to the image or left or right. But that is reserved only for 6DOF or 6 degrees of freedom headsets, because they have the motion tracking, where 3 degrees of freedom is like equivalent to a 360 capture or experience. You can only sit still and rotate your head. You cannot move forward, backward, left, right. So you cannot get close or anything. You can only stay in a static bubble, which is locked. And some people call it the fishbowl effect. So there you go. All right, that's all the knowledge I got for that. And by the way, it looks like Petras has a quick question. What's your opinion on AR e-commerce adaptation with Apple AR Quick Look? I don't know if I totally understand, but what do I think about the opinion of AR e-commerce adaptation of Apple AR's, I'm assuming, existing platform, which would be ARKit? I think people are using it. I think there's always going to be inherently an issue with augmented reality being displayed on a cell phone. Obviously, the better solution would be to have augmented reality glasses that you can see rather than holding a cell phone up. But until then, I think there's been some wonderful work. I think enterprise companies are having difficulty figuring out who they can contract to build augmented reality applications, and also why it is a benefit to their customers or to their business. So, as awareness spreads about augmented reality becomes more commonplace, I think that it will do even better than what it has. But I think the adoption rate is as expected. That's what I think. So cool. All right, we're going to move on to our last question here. And let's see how well you do. Which famous sci-fi novelist is now chief futurist at an AR company or augmented reality company? Is it A, Neil Stephenson, B, George Orwell, C, L. Ron Hubbard, or D, Ernest Cline? Which famous sci-fi novelist is now chief futurist at an augmented reality company? Is it A, Neil Stephenson, B, George Orwell, C, L. Ron Hubbard, or D, Ernest Cline? So, all of them sci-fi novelists. Ernest Cline has a big book that could be a book that's a cult classic and had a film made out of it recently. So maybe that got him to an AR company. What do you think? Who else do we got in there? George Orwell, famous for 1982 and kind of like Big Brother. kind of thing? Would they hire him at an augmented reality company as chief futurist? What do you think? Comment below. All right. L. Ron Hubbard. What do you think? Famous novelist? Could be. Or Neil Stephenson. He's famous for the film, the novel Snow Crash. Also a sci-fi classic. Ernest Cline is known for Ready Player One. What do you think? All right, we're going to read the question one more time, and then I'm going to give away the answers. Question number 5. Which famous sci-fi novelist is now chief futurist at an augmented reality company? Is it A, Neil Stephenson, B, George Orwell, C, L. Ron Hubbard, or D, Ernest Cline? All right. Now, before I give away that answer, I'll tell you which company. In specific, the augmented reality company that I'm talking about is Magic Leap. Okay? And so their chief futurist is a sci-fi novelist. What do you think about that? That's pretty cool. I think so. I'm not sure exactly what the tasks there as chief futurist are, but who do you think is the chief futurist at Magic Leap? Which sci-fi novelist? Here we go. Get in your answers right now in the comments below before it's too late. All right. Let's run through that question one more time, and then we're going to reveal the answer. Question number 5. Which famous sci-fi novelist is now chief futurist at an augmented reality company? A, Neil Stephenson, B, George Orwell, C, L. Ron Hubbard, or D, Ernest Cline? The answer, Neil Stephenson. Neil Stephenson is the chief futurist at an augmented reality company called Magic Leap. And there it is. And that concludes the live trivia challenge. So count up your scores, post them in the comments below, so that way you can show your challengers, your enemies, if you will, how well you did on this trivia challenge and how well you did in comparison to them. So comment those below. I'm going to go ahead and pick up a few comments from LinkedIn Live. And what did you guys think about that whole format? We kind of transitioned from this interactive news show, and now we've moved over to this live trivia game in which you can challenge your colleagues. We've covered a lot today. So any final thoughts about little Miquela or Darpa or Apple? We also saw the NVIDIA Gauguin, the painting AI, if you will. And we've seen a lot. We talked a lot. We've learned a lot. And that's what we expect to do on LinkedIn Live. Beta. It's still not out yet. All right. What can I do, So here we go. Big shout out to Eleanor, J. Brian Hennessy. He sees the snow crash. Yeah. And wow, we still got a lot of people tuned in. So that's pretty awesome. Well, I'm going to give some final thoughts here about some things and maybe pull in any comments or questions from the audience, and then we'll see where it goes. So I think when it comes to, I think Apple has some exciting announcements to come, and I think the whole industry is waiting for them to drop an AR or VR product. When it comes to DARPA, I think that 1.5 billion is a good amount of money, and it's a good start in the right direction. But if we're going to solve it quickly, we need lots of support in trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And that could come from, government supplementation, or maybe it's businesses who are just trying to become sort of like the next Intel. So there's a huge opportunity there, and the winner of that solution will be handsomely paid and taken care of. I think when it comes to little Miquela and influencers, I'm really interested in where this is going. What does this mean for the future of, because we've seen AI anchors, now we're seeing AI influencers. So AI content creators is down the pike. I've seen AI musicians. I mean, it really asks us a big question for our future as to what we're going to do. Are we going to just control the AIs to put out a better output, or are we going to get replaced? And I think in reference to the facial recognition story from Apple, although I believe the student may have jumped to a conclusion that they use facial recognition software in their stores, and Apple claims that that is not true, it still begs an important question. It's like, as we continue to make advancements in facial recognition software and computer vision, which is really helpful to humanity, what kind of regulations or rules can we put in place to stop from people being improperly accused for crimes that may have been decided by an artificial intelligence or some sort of computer vision software, and it makes a decision to file an arrest warrant or that kind of thing. So as AI judges and government starts to become automated, that becomes a real issue. So it's better for us to figure out as a people where we stand on that issue now before it becomes a problem. And so maybe this sort of false flag that is coming from this student who's making this claim is a blessing in disguise, because we should all have a public conversation about it. Cool. Let's jump here. Try to get the Weiner man on the show. Yeah, that would be great. I would love to get the CEO of LinkedIn on here. So just tag him. Maybe suggest he shows up. He can sit on this chair right here. Come on, Jeff. Come on over. Look, LinkedIn HQ is, 10 minutes away or something like that. Just come on here on the digital assets couch, and let's talk about the future of technology. We're already showing LinkedIn Live what the future is like. We just need you to make it authenticated. So give us that stamp, that certification, or at least give me a little influencer little badge. I'm just saying. All right, guys, I had an awesome time. We want you to tune in next week on Wednesday. We're going to do this again, same time, 10 or 10:30, depending on how we're feeling. But we've got more special surprises on the way. Make sure that you go back and check our past live streams if you haven't, because they've been trivia games. They're fun. And there's a lot of great information there. And that's it. Make sure that you keep watching us and keep sharing, tagging, and most importantly, thank you to the viewer. You're the reason why we do this, why we put together all this amazing content and work so hard to put together a great show for you on LinkedIn Live. And so your appreciation means everything, and we're literally not doing it for any other reason than you. So thank you for watching, tuning in, and playing this really cool show with us. So awesome. That's all the time I got for you today. So aloha and au revoir from San Francisco, Silicon Valley. I'm Sebastian from The Digital Asset, and I'm signing out. This has been a wonderful LinkedIn Live.